Hi guys, so for my project, I'm going to be going over how to write and implement a contingency contract for an individual with autism that requires little support for parents. So first of all, I wanted to go over what a contingency contract is. So according to Cooper, Heron, and Hewer 2007, a contingency contract is the relationship between the completion of a behavior, such as completing math homework, and access to a reward, such as playing a video game. Some children like to play on a playground or get a toy from the store. It just depends. And there are many different items that can serve as reinforcers to your child. So some children like to buy items at the store. They may prefer a video game, or they might have a movie in mind that they want to see at the movie theater, and that can serve as a reward for completing certain behavior. And then a behavior contract usually consists of three parts. So the description of the task needs to be stated, the description of the reward for the completion of the task, according to Hawkins et al. 2011. And then the article also reiterates the fact that parental support is paramount. So the relationship between the contract and parent involvement will build the trust with the child. So that's kind of the third component there. And then according to Landrum and Kaufman, 2022, behavior contracts are comprised of multiple intervention components. So we have token reinforcers that serve as backup reinforcers. So as your child is going through and completing the behavior that you're trying to get them to engage in, they earn reinforcers throughout the week and build up to that big reinforcer. Let's say it's going to the movies at the end of the week. And you can use this in the form of stickers or actual tokens, just depending on what would be reinforcing for your child. Contingency contracts are maintained by these socially mediated consequences and rule-governed behavior, which we'll get into in the next slide. Token reinforcers can be used in the form of stickers, actual tokens, or other items that will add up to earning access to the prize. And then according to Hawkins et al. 2011, contingency contracts can decrease a wide range of problem behaviors. So using one in home for parents can help them decrease behavior significantly or increase one that they're looking for, such as a child completing their homework. And then behavior contracts can improve behavior in a gradual process by allowing the individual to encounter reinforcement for engaging in that behavior that you want them to engage in. And this just means that over time, your child will likely do the behavior that you're writing out more over time once they understand that they get a prize or reinforced for it. So let's go over rule-governed behavior. Rule-governed behavior is a behavior that is under the control of a verbal rule or a written rule, but the behavior itself does not have to be experienced for the individual to know the consequence. So some examples of rule-governed behavior include following instructions, such as cleaning your room because you were told to do so, or looking both ways before crossing a street, even though you have never been hit by a car or seen anyone else being hit by a car, according to Bradley and Noel 2022. And your child should have some kind of understanding of the written rule before you implement the contingency contract with them, because if your child doesn't understand the rule, the contingency contract won't work. So they have to understand if they engage in the behavior that you're writing out, that they will get access to the reinforcer. So now we can get into developing the contract. So step one would be to develop it. And for the first step, you and your child should find a place to write out the contract that is quiet, free of distractions, and then have the contract include the child's name, your name, the date, and any other important information that you see fit to include. And then you want to brainstorm with your child to go over a list of their potential reinforcers. So go over with them what they would like to do for that week. They might prefer to go to the movie theaters. They might want to play their video game or buy something from the grocery store. And keep in mind your child's age. So make sure that the reward is appropriate and is motivating enough for them to engage in the behavior. Your child, if they're 13 years old, they probably want to play a video game instead of just getting a piece of candy. And then we also kind of want to know the difference between a preferred item and a reinforcer. So we're looking to find a reinforcer to use at the end of the behavior contract. So a reinforcer is only provided for the desired behavior. It's given to the child for engaging in the desired behavior. So in this instance, following the contract. It should be something that the child has not received too often in the past. So if they have access to playing video games every day, it probably won't work if you make that the reinforcer for engaging in the contract. And then it should also be motivating enough for them to engage in the appropriate response. Whereas a preferred item is just something that the child or teenager likes to do and enjoys engaging with, but it is less motivating than a reinforcer, and the child will likely not engage in the behavior as much for a preferred item if they have access to it. So then we're going to continue developing the behavior contract. So you should focus on 1 to 2 behaviors at a time. For instance, if you want to increase the amount of homework your child does, you should focus just on 1 to 2 pages of homework a week and build it up from there. Make the goal achievable. And then state the goal in the clear terms that you have with your child. So make sure you define what those terms are. For example, you could have the child write out, I will complete 2 pages of my math homework packet for the week, and make sure they're involved in this process so that they understand they're part of it as well and give them that autonomy. And so if you're trying to decrease the behavior, you should write this out as well. So an example might be, I will not yell at my brother for 3 days. And make sure that's written out as well if you're looking to also decrease a behavior. Involve your child in writing the contract and have this open-ended conversation about what's realistic for your child to achieve. Talk about the consequence and what it will be for following the contract, and what the consequence will be if the child does not follow the contract.